Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Engineer Hussein Masabi. So in this video, we'll be looking at the fluid mechanics problem. So before we begin, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Alright, let's begin. Now the question was to say a piston having a cross-sectional area of 0.07 meters squared is located in a cylinder containing water as shown in the figure. We have this figure. Now, an open YouTube manometer is connected to the cylinder as shown. For H1, which is height number 1, being 60 millimeters, and the other height to be 100 millimeters, we have been asked to determine the force P required to hold the system in equilibrium. So we need to determine the force P required to hold the system in equilibrium. Alright, let us understand something. Okay, so in order to make you understand this, let us make this in a way that we can all understand. Let us assume or say that P is equal to F, since P is the force. And we understand this because pressure is the force acting per unit area. As a result, if we consider equilibrium, we're saying that force is equal to pressure times area, in which we know that F is the force applied and P is the pressure acting on the piston and A is the area of the piston. So with this much said, let us determine what we need. We want to find the force. Since we need to find the force, we have data. The area has been given to be 0.07 meter squared, and with that area, all we need to do is to determine the pressure acting on the piston. Now, to find the pressure acting on the piston, all we have to do is to create an equation. So we are moving from this part of the water to the mercury part until we reach that point there. So we're going to say that the pressure which is acting on the piston plus, since we're going downwards, this is water, so we're considering the specific weight of water times the height, which is H1. And since we have this datum line, this helps us to understand that this entire portion here at the bottom is negligible. Including this portion here, it's also negligible. As well as this portion here, it's also negligible. Because we know that this entire cylinder and the piping system here, it all contains water. So we're talking about the same pressure. And we have said that this is going to be the specific weight of water times height 1. So we understand that if we're here, we're also here, we're also there, we're also there, we're also there, and here. Therefore, if we're looking at the change in pressure with respect to the fluids and their height, then we just have to focus on the height and the fluids. Therefore, if we reach this point, we just have to go upwards. And this would be minus the specific weight of this fluid here, which is mercury, Hg, times height, which is h, and this is at equilibrium, therefore this is equal to 0. And if we make P the subject of the formula, we're saying that we'll have the specific weight of mercury times its height minus the specific weight of water times height 1. Therefore, This is the pressure acting on the piston. If we look at the specific weight of Mercury, this is, remember, you don't really have to be a genius to know this. It will always be given. Check the table always if you need to determine this, but as you solve questions on and on and on, you get to remember these values. So the specific weight of Mercury is 133, that's in kilonewtons per meter cubed, times height, and then the height we have in context for Mercury is 100. So we're saying 100 divided by 1000, then minus the specific weight of water. Remember, this is in kilonewtons, so also considering the kilonewtons aspect of water. So looking at 9.81 times the height, which is 60, it's in millimeters, so we also divide by 1000. Be mindful, when the specific weights are in kilonewtons and your question is mostly focused on kilonewtons, balance every unit you have in kilonewtons. If it's in newtons, put them in newtons. Just make sure you balance out the units. It's not really a good thing to know how to solve a problem, but finding it very difficult to convert the units when we understand that units are a no-brainer. So let's make sure that as we are solving, we are also being accurate. All right, we move on. So now if we do the math, we'll be having a value of 12.7114. That will be our value, and this will be in kilonewtons per meter cubed. That is our pressure, without even rounding it off. Now we need to determine the force. We're not done. So to determine the force, we're saying that the force, which is actually P, is equal to the pressure times the area. So we're saying the pressure is 12.7114 times the area, which is 0.07, and the force will be a value of, if you just multiply it, you'll be having 0.889798 kilonewtons, and this will be your answer provided that you even round it off. But now this value doesn't really look the way we want it to look like, so let us convert this to newtons. So we say force 0.889798 times 10 to the power 3. Therefore we'll be having our force to be equal to, if we multiply this by 1000, we'll be having, if we just calculate correctly, we'll be having 889 point, if we round off to one decimal point, we'll be having 889.8 newtons, and this will be the value that we need in question. Therefore, if we let P be equal to F, remember that F being P is 889.8 newtons, and this is the force required to hold the system in equilibrium. All right, I know it might look like a handful when solving, and it might look like it's a lot of work, but with a little bit of practice, you get a hang of it. And remember, slow progress is better than no progress. Let us strategize in order that we do not become a statistic, and let's try and push for that A+.